Look, Jason, I'm gonna call a truce on the game, okay? So if it turns out that you're pulling a fast one on me and you think it's part of the game, and then you say, "Oh, I got you," no, because I'm pulling out of the game for a second. I'm admitting my confusion. I'm gonna turn on the lights because people get scared of all the fucking things that they cannot understand. God fucking damn it! All right. So bearing in mind that none of you has any idea where I'm coming from, okay? And I don't mean geographically, okay? And bearing in mind that my mind is not very straight right now, not because I'm crazy, like a lot of people say when they leave comments and they don't know what the fuck they're saying, or in the streets or whatnot, because all it takes is deviate a little bit from the norm, and society is gonna make you pay big time. Know that better than any person that's been abused in any form and that is still alive. But so I've got my 47 and a half years behind me, but I also have my last few weeks behind me where I thought my brother died very suddenly, and it turns out he was alive, and so on and so forth. I have my suicidal crisis behind me, and I have the plain fact that the past few days have been really incredible, both with, mostly with good things, some bad things. I'm sleep deprived, and so on and so forth. I was ready to go to sleep, but I want to stop for a few minutes. And even though tomorrow I might realize, sure, that, I need to improve on what I did or so on and so forth, I'm just going to go with the flow. So there's a truce on the game because I can't figure out right now uh, if you're actually hurting about something that could actually be major that everybody on Facebook and YouTube that's following you, and like I said, I haven't even seen your Facebook page once, but if you're, so let's cover the basics. If you're actually hurting right now, because the premise is that I can't figure out if you're pulling a major act on me. I grew up with a mom who used to play jokes on people, and I've I've had 35 different addresses in 25 different cities and three continents. And also, even in the same neighborhood, there's somebody that thinks something is square, somebody else thinks they're round, and it doesn't take a PhD, you know, and cultural relativism to know that everybody takes things differently. So there's a part of me that was hesitating to, you know, get back to you because it's like I thought, oh, I'm gonna go, oh, poor Jason, you're hurting. What's wrong or something like that, and then you're gonna go, bah, ha, 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 it's 2-0, because I already told you it's 1-0. You scored the first point, but I can't shake the feeling that, and not just the feeling. That's not it. I I can't reconcile the fact that you've got. I've just taken a glance. I've hardly spent time with your pages today because you weren't getting back to me. But and I'm talking about your YouTube pages, but I started to catch glances of people that are talking like there's a huge problem that you're addressing and you're hurting, and they're all consoling you and so on and so forth. So that the first things, I can't reconcile the fact. I don't think that'd be end of the joke. That's why I'm not going to sleep. That's why I'm making the video. It's like it's not registering because in my mind you're we're playing some kind of a game. But then, how would all these people? I know you said you called 19 people, but did you call 19 people to make it sound like? No, I'm starting to think that there is a possibility that you're actually hurting. So the number one priority is if you're hurting, I hope you to feel good soon. I feel really bad that you're hurting. I would say this to anybody, anytime. I have a few enemies that it'll take me a few seconds to say that, but no, I mean it for everybody. I mean it for everybody. So if you're hurting, I feel really bad, not for what I've done. If anything, I'm pissed that if you're hurting because of something that I've done, I'm pissed at you. plain and simple. But that's no big deal. If you're actually, as an emotional person, if you're actually going through pain right now, I feel bad for you. And I'm going to let all the other considerations take, you know, second, third, fourth priority. The number one priority is that you're actually, if you're actually going through unhappy feelings, then I hope and pray with all my heart that you will be well as soon as possible, emotionally and on all fronts. So, as far as if I played a role in this scenario in which I played a role in hurting you, it could be pointless and it's not the main issue. And people, I've argued with my brothers about some stuff for 20 years, and we still, it's amazing, how people can't see the same things the same way. But I will say for the record that anything, I know I said, every single blasphemous and irreverent and taboo and unspeakable thing that you could say, but that's just part of games that I've played with people, and I might have misunderstood that you were reading these things as the time was evolving, and that every single time that you would send me a video back and you were laughing, that it was a green light to say, go on, we're talking shit before this, it's a role playing game, and I'm gonna be this and that and so on and so forth. So, which brings us back to the fact that, I mean, you're long time after I barraged you with the worst thing that I could tell you as my tradition about fucking around with people about the most absurd things that you could say. Like the guy that I thought was my best friend in college, and he was Iranian, and I'd call him the fucking Muslim all the time as a joke, because I don't think like those people that might not say it, but think it. And he loved it. We were laughing about it all the time. If somebody would have eavesdropped, if somebody would have caught a segment of our conversation and would have heard me say, you fucking Muslim, and it was like, and I was the Dago and the WAP and so on and so forth. And I mean, so, and trust me, I know, not only do I know about political correctness, but I have been so fucking upset that there was such a backlash against political correctness, which is not meant to be political correctness, okay? Because like when here in Italy, a house cleaner used to be called a servant. And my mom, when I was a child, said, it's a good thing that they told us to stop using those words. From servant, then you called it a housekeeper, okay? And the biggest thing for me that really, really bugged me was the use of pronouns. I think that it's just unthinkable that people still say mankind and people say he for a neutral pronoun. But there's been such a backlash against PC. It's just so wrong to be PC. Which again, I never thought of it as being PC. That it's like, if anything, I'm fighting an uphill battle. But I understand the difference between, for example, hate speech and joking. And I understand that there's people that can't even joke about stuff like that. It's a complicated issue. And I'm not here to try to solve it right now. I'm not here to try to, if you are actually hurting, and it's stuff that does go back to years and it's deep. We're not going to fix it in a moment, overnight. Okay. What I can tell you is that the longest periods that I've experienced suicide was about harm that was done to me by words. I'm an expert in emotional abuse. So there is nothing, I can't see without glasses, but let me look at the camera. There is nothing that you could have suffered ever in your life emotionally that would be more than what I've suffered emotionally for words or even silent things, for just not physical but emotional abuse. There's nobody on this earth that has suffered emotional abuse, and I'm not from my family, although I have some serious issues with some of my brothers, but I love them and admire them. No, from other people in society, okay, and in relationships. No one on earth has suffered emotionally more than I have, and the reason I know that is that if you would have suffered more, you would have died. Okay, you do not know the experience that I have with suicide. Okay, but one of the things that I have learned, and I'm talking about years, okay, one of the things that I have learned is that the harm that I felt that was being done to me, even in those cases where, unlike any joke that I might have made with you, the person actually wanted to harm me, okay? Because there's a difference between hurting somebody accidentally for a day or for years and hurting somebody deliberately emotionally, okay? There's a lot of us that practice that on a daily basis, but society thinks that, oh, they're such a good person, this and that, but they have ways. Look up, for those of you that don't understand, and 99% of you don't, look up emotional abuse. There are links to it that you can find. I highly recommend. This is a delicate subject. Yeah, look up Rafaela Cantagallo, and then from there, look at the links that I recommend, okay? Now, excuse my emotions, I have emotions too. But nobody's going to tell me. Nobody's going to teach me anything about emotional suffering. So at the same time that I'm giving people priority, and that I'm giving the fact that you may or may not be, but that you might actually be suffering, yes, the number one priority is that I feel for you. But I also got to tell you, and this goes to anybody that's listening to this, you've got to learn that you are part of the dance. If words, symbols, images, anything that is not physical is harming you, it's because you're letting it harm you. And it takes years of reprogramming your brain. Years of reprogramming your brain it can take years of reprogramming your brain to get to the point where you understand that if you remove yourself from the dance, then they cannot hurt you. Okay? So, never meant anyone any harm, except on a few occasions I've wished ill on some people that did some really, really bad stuff to me. And I like to play the psycho on YouTube, but I'm not a psycho. Okay? Yes, I've been in psych wards, and I know a lot about the discrimination against the different. But I'm not a psycho. I don't hurt people, and I don't mean to hurt people. Having said that, I wish you well. I hope we can play soon, and I hope you tell me, I got you, but I'm gonna say no, you didn't. But anyway, it's all a fucking mystery. At this point, I'm so confused. But anyway, bear in mind, however, you've got all these videos in which you're laughing at me and you're contradicting yourself and so on and so forth. So I don't know, man. It's hard to take you very seriously with some of the videos that you sent me after the stuff that I wrote. But anyway, we'll see.